miles, 70 miles almost, and they run both sides of the river. My district is split. Where large groups of low-income or minority voters live, they cut them out and stuck them into the second district. And you can look at the numbers. We have 6 districts. 5 out of 6 are Republican, and 5 out of 6 have over 60-some, high 60 to 70% Caucasian population. One district's a Democrat, and it has 70% African-American. It's a racist drawing of the borders so they can lean it their way. Republicans can't win outright anymore. They have to cheat in order to win.
So Garrett Graves, like most Republican incumbents, and you mentioned, he's got corporate ties. He's got a lot of money that he's raised, although very little of it from small donor dollars. So we've been talking to people around the country about this. Almost everyone who's facing a Republican incumbent is facing big money. So talk a little bit about your fundraising strategy and your strategy for working with less money than the incumbent has.
My strategy for working with less money than the incumbent would be that we have over almost 200 volunteers already signed up and ready to, which we are just now implementing some of our get out the vote effort. Our key to victory is getting the vote out. Garrett has that money. He has $1.7 million. He's a career politician. It's evident by what he's doing. He's raising all that money so he can run for governor and this and that. And that's fine if you want a corporate sellout like that. I'm not that person. We raise money through small dollar donations, and we don't take corporate PAC money, and we buy the things we need in order to function. We just opened our office in Baton Rouge just the other day, and Garrett is so dependent on that big money and so addicted to it that I just was recently today, it was pointing out to me that Garrett took money from a oil company owned by a foreign country, by the Russians, and he refunded that money like he's supposed to, but he took 3 weeks to refund it. You're supposed to refund it within 10 days. And I'm not 100%, but I believe that's actually a crime. But that's the thing you have with your corporate sellouts. They do that. My vote is, I'm normal. I'm like everybody else. My claim to run for this seat is not because I'm going to tell people I'm better than you or I felt some inspiration. I'm going to tell you that I'm sick and tired of seeing everyone I know affected the way they are by these people that just want to get reelected and just want more money. I'm sick of seeing my mom on disability because she's been on there since the 90s when she broke her back. I'm sick of seeing people on Social Security with a house that leaks every time it rains and that we don't have any way to solve these problems because people are supposed to be there to do that are there to make more money and grease their own pockets. Garrett Graves is by far one of the most corrupted sellout politicians I've ever seen, and he has this hokey act that he's just like me. He's not. The only private sector job that man's ever had was TCBY in high school. He's been handed everything by his rich daddy by being appointed by our ex-governor, which was a miserable failure, Bobby Jindal. And that's the same establishment of donors that donated to Jindal and David Vitter are the ones that keep putting people like this man in power because money talks and nothing else matters. That's got to change.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the issues that you're hearing sort of people talk about. What would you say some of the most important issues are to the voters you talk to when you're out canvassing?
The voters I talk to, one of the most important issues is their health care. Thanks to our governor signing the Medicaid expansion, we actually have people that are covered. They're worried about their jobs. They want work. Well, I want to end that corporate welfare that we give companies like the Walmarts of the world. Not just picking on Walmart, but they use them as an example. They pay people minimum wage. They work 30 hours a week, deny them benefits, and they hire more people and they brag about how many people they employed. Corporate welfare is when you pay your employees such little that they qualify, in our state, qualify for food stamps. When two-person household working with 2 kids, they qualify. With 40 hours a week, they qualify for food stamps. Does that not preach the system is broken? It's not time to end the food stamp system or SNAP benefits or healthcare assistance. It's time to end corporate welfare. And that's the main thing people in this state want. We have an unhealthy state because we have a lot of pollution and people are literally getting sick and they can't go to the doctor. So we have that solved at the moment, but Republicans are destroying it constantly. They can't repeal it because they're incompetent, and I'm glad they're incompetent and they can't do it, but they keep stripping little things out that makes it more expensive. The economy is a big thing for people. Work is something. Well, green energy is a work. We have plenty of sun in Louisiana, plenty of wind, plenty of every form of green energy. those jobs pay great. And that's what I want to move towards. But we have a donor base in this state that loves to keep us on the oil addiction. And the big thing about all problems in our political world root back to the root of all evil in politics is money. And that's a huge problem. It needs to change. That's why people are angry. They may not know it, but when I talk to them, I don't cover things up. If you're a Democrat or Republican and you're a sellout, I'll call you out for it. And that's what I talk to people about. All their problems root back to the same thing. But as far as flooding infrastructure is one of our biggest things. We live in Louisiana. We are on the forefront of climate change here. We are losing our coast constantly due to coastal erosion. Saltwater intrusion has entered our aquifer in Louisiana where our drinking water comes from. Our Congressman Garrett Graves touts that's his big claim to fame. He was head of the CPRA, our Coastal Restoration Authority. That's cool, but you got handed that job by your Bobby Jindal because your dad was a donor. The man literally built sand berms in the Gulf of Mexico, dumped sand to block oil coming in from the BP oil spill. If that doesn't scream incompetent, I don't know what does. And his dad's contracted a lot of those projects he was contracted to. It's greasing everybody's pocket. And he lies to people and tells them we can build a few little diversions and that's going to reverse our loss. That's not. He's not really getting much done. And the only reason he's going to get anything done this year is because it's an election year and he needs something to run on. But our voters typically know these issues, and that's what they're angry about. They've just been lied to by these Republicans for years, and they've ingrained themselves in that mentality of nothing's going to get done. And I'm here to say it's going to get done.
So it's fairly unusual to have openly gay candidates for Congress in the South, in the Deep South. What sort of reaction are you getting from the people in the district? Is that an issue or a non-issue?
Being openly gay in the South, well, if elected, I'd be the first one to be elected from the South, openly gay. Also, years ago, it used to be a big deal killer for some people. Now, most people don't care about what I do at home and who I'm with. Most people know that once they see who I am, they know I'm a working class person that stands up and does what he's supposed to do in life and looks out for his family and his friends. And that's the end of the conversation. Actually, it's harder to tell them you're a Democrat than it is to tell them I'm gay. Because Democrats have been demonized in the South. Like, I know Hillary Clinton was demonized for years before this election. And even to this day, I talk to voters that are swing voters or people that are even Republican. And their number one thing is, I don't like Hillary. That's one of the common things that come out of their mouth. They still don't like Hillary. I'm not Hillary. I'm not an elitist person. I'm not saying she is or isn't. I'm just not one of those people that are going to come talk down to people. I'm going to talk to you and listen to you. I'm not a politician, but politicians and elected officials, if they would just shut their mouths every now and again and open their ears a little bit, they could get some knowledge and get some things done. And these grandiose speeches they give, preparing a speech for people gives you time to prepare to lie and prepare to coerce whatever you want to sound good. I don't prepare speeches. I talk from me, from my heart. I don't want to prepare speeches. That's generic robotic stuff. But the gay thing is, I've had a few, I ain't going to say death threats. They're not death threats, but they're negative comments and things like that. Of course, there's always going to be that. I've dealt with that my whole life. But that's not going to make me stop running. And my husband is supportive of me and wants me to continue what I'm doing, but I don't want him out, and he doesn't campaign with me because I don't want him in that environment of some people are just very nasty people. And if you're nasty to my husband, you're going to make me very angry.
Justin, are there other things that you want to make sure that we talk about?
Basically, I think most of my story, I flooded in 2016. That's what got me into it. And I'm not for sale. That I'm actually here to stand up for the people of Louisiana, not to be one of these sellouts like the rest of them. And it would help the state of Louisiana massively if the National Democratic Party or any national organization like that would get off their rear end and do something about it. If they want to abandon the South, they can continue to abandon the South and continue to see their party shrink. People are angry here, and one of the reasons is Democrats are left here holding the bucket going, hey, where's the national support we thought we had? They don't. They only come here to fundraise. Hillary Clinton only came here to fundraise. She never came here to campaign. Bill Clinton came here to fundraise. They don't campaign. They don't listen to us. They just want our Democratic area money. They'll go to New Orleans and a fundraiser in a heartbeat and then fly out next night or that night. And that's it. We never see them again. You want to win Louisiana back, stop writing us off.
And if our listeners would like to help your campaign, how can they do that?
You can go to www.DeWittForCongress.com, and we have a donate link there. It's an ActBlue link. We're on Facebook at Justin DeWitt for U.S. Congress. I have a bio video if you want to check that out and learn a little bit about me and put a face to the voice. Feel free. Justin DeWitt for U.S. Congress on Facebook and DeWitt for Congress on the website.
All right, and we'll put links to those on our website as well. And on the donate page, there's also check boxes if people want to help volunteer. So people can do that as well if they're interested in helping out the South. If the National Party won't help, maybe the grassroots can help.
Phone banking for a candidate in another state is one of the greatest ways anyone can help out with anywhere. And I'm absolutely right. If national parties and national organizations don't want to help, people with their phones can always help phone bank, and that's a massive help and a massive tool.
All right. Well, Justin, thank you so much for talking to us. This has been really great, and I'm glad to hear that there are really exciting Democrats running in Louisiana, and I hope that people don't write you off. I think we're seeing a lot of energy in the South. Certainly we're seeing a ton of energy in Alabama and Texas, and I think that we need to support the Democrats who are in the South. Hey everyone, this is Kelly with Two Broads Talking Politics. I'm here in this segment with Mimi Methvin, who is running for Congress in the 3rd Congressional District in Louisiana. Hi, Mimi.
Hi, how are you, Kelly? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me. So to start off, could you just tell our listeners a little bit about your background, your legal career, and why you're running for Congress now?
I grew up in Alexandria, which is, I call the Midwest of Louisiana, right in the middle of the state. I have a degree in philosophy from Tulane University, and I went to Tulane Law School in my senior year of college. And then I transferred to Georgetown University, and I worked my way through law school there, working as a congressional aide for Congressman Gillis Long, and going to law school at night. And I did that for 2 years till I finished law school, and then I decided to stay another year with Congressman Long and do some legislative aid work. While I was in law school, I was doing constituent liaison work. And then I decided to come home to Louisiana and practice law. I practiced with my dad in a small law firm in Alexandria for about a year and a half. And then I became an assistant U.S. attorney, a federal prosecutor, basically, although I did work on the civil side as well. And then I moved to Appalachia, became a staff attorney for the Office of Surface Mining under the Department of Interior during the reign of James Watt, one of the most notorious foxes in charge of the hen houses that we've had. And then I applied for a position as United States Magistrate Judge, which I had heard was open in Lafayette, Louisiana. Came to Lafayette, interviewed with a Citizens Committee, a merit selection committee. I was recommended along with, I think they put 5 names on a list, and I was selected as the one chosen. So I moved to Lafayette in 1983. I was 30 years old. And I was a U.S. magistrate judge for the next 26 years. We're reappointed every 8 years. Again, we have to be vetted by a merit selection committee, and public comment is accepted. And I was reappointed 3 times. And then I left in 2009 because my youngest son was going off to college, and I had maxed out on my federal retirement. I had been a public servant for 34 years with the federal government. And so I opened a private mediation firm, which is work that is very dear to my heart. I enjoy it. I think I bring some good skills to that activity. So I've helped thousands of litigants settle their lawsuits by mediation. And then I started practicing law again in 2012. I've had the great joy of representing some wonderful clients, and we've had some good success in that arena. But at any rate, I decided to run because I believe our democracy is at stake. I think that if we don't, good people who have